thank you very much for having me here. I'll start straight by asking you, if you don't mind, I want the ladies in this room to say hey after I count from 1 to 3. Are you ready, ladies? Yes. 1, 2, 3. Hey. Perfect. I will ask the men as well to count, to say hey after I count 3. 1, 2, 3. Do you also notice with me that women here, they have really a high voice? Higher than men. No offense, gentlemen, right? But is it always the case? Is it always the case? Do you hear the same thing, the same voices high everywhere? You're sure of what you're saying? I don't see it when I travel and see in other places. It might be here, yes, but in many places we don't hear it. Although we are talking about a community in the Middle East that consists of 70% of the population under the age of 30. And we have more than 50% of the population are women. But we don't hear the voice all the time. But for me, it's a different story. I was raised in a house with my family as a whole, including my parents, of course, and my grandparents. And I come from Jordan, and my grandfather was the head of the tribe. And I'm the number 1 kid for the number 1 son. So I was the favorite to my grandfather. And I used to come, the only person to come in whenever he's receiving his friends, the heads of tribes. They used to come every Thursday in the evening from their cities straight to my grandfather, because at that time we were privileged to have a TV, the black and white TV. So that was a while ago. So they used to come and talk about many things, including what they're watching on TV. And of course, being the kid sitting next to my grandfather, I used to ask questions. Uncle, why your mustache is like this? Uncle, why you're carrying gun? Why you're wearing a dress, which is the kandora? So of course, they look at me and they smile and they nod. But my grandfather used to tell them, she asks you a question, she's not going to leave you until you give her the answer. And that was very true, because I will never leave them until I get the answer. And this is where it started. And that's exactly the beginning of me clicking with journalism. And that's the journalism that I've been doing for more than 30 years. I ask questions, I don't leave until I get the answer. I look for the truth. I also try to encourage others to have a voice. That is the mission of any journalist. So I interviewed a lot of officials, heads of states, young people, entrepreneurs, and so on, including amazing and inspiring women. And I try to offer them a platform and voice for those who do not have voices. But some of them, they really have amazing voice and inspiring stories that no matter what I do and what I did, I still feel too small next to them. So the journey started, and I started to work in many media outlets, and until a milestone happened in my career, and I received an offer from CNN, wanted me to start the first operation in the Gulf, and also the first Arabic services. That was January 2002 in Dubai, very close to you. And I started the journey with an amazing team. And after doing amazing work together, we reached our 20th anniversary, so we wanted to celebrate. So we sat together as one team and asked ourselves, what shall we do? Shall we do a party? Shall we give gifts? Shall we do this and that? And then collectively we decided, no, we need to commit to a cause. Something we believe in and something we will feel proud of. So we decided that we will be launching a page called Her Story, Hikayatuha. This page started on our 20th anniversary that I am here to tell you about. This is what Dr. Nada asked me to come and tell you about this story about Her Story. Now, Her Story, as I said, this was launched for the women, the inspiring women, Not the women, with all my respect to everybody, who got money from their parents to start a business. We're talking about women who started from scratch. And some of them also went ups and downs, but at the same time, they were able to inspire and bring hope to others. You will see, for example, a Syrian young lady who lost her legs, and she was losing hope. And then when she reached London as an immigrant, the hope actually became even higher and higher. And now she is one of the international athletes. You will hear also about a woman who unfortunately had cancer, and then she lost hope. But now she is not only cancer-free, she has an NGO that she is doing lots of work. So we thought, how can we handle a page that we consider it as our unique offering, because we believe in it. So we decided to do a 360 approach, meaning that we train people on storytelling, train the women NGOs, storytelling, then we coach them until they are able to record their stories, and then we take them to the final stage, which is getting their approval to publish it on CNN, and in specific on CNN Arabic. And so far, we're honored to say that we've got almost 200 stories of amazing, inspiring, motivating stories from women in the Arab world. So that is something that we feel super proud. Now, why did we do this story? Because we felt that there's lots of untold stories. We need to offer also a platform for women to tell their stories, but we need sometimes to tell them how to do it. You know that many people, if they don't know how to tell their stories, they lose opportunities. Then we cannot train the whole world, but we focus on women, and we're still working on it. We train them how to do the storytelling from where they start, from the ideation, debates, presentation. Then we take them to know their audience. Then we take them to also they think in a strategic way, critical thinking, and then they produce their stories. You know that how important it is, the body language, the face expressions. Sometimes people, they misread your expression, they misread your body language, and you lose a chance. We know many young women that they have amazing story, but they cannot tell it to bring attention, or even to let the official who they are trying to talk to even turn for a bit, just to approach and then appreciate what they're doing. So that's what we've done, and we're still doing. So we're committed to train 100 NGOs, members of NGOs, 100 every year minimum, and then we are starting to grow. So if you know anybody that you think that they have inspiring stories, we're more than happy to train them. I'll stop here. Thank you very much for having me, and I want you... Thank you. Thank you. I want you to see with me what's her story.
وجودي في وسائل التواصل الاجتماعي ولنشر الوعي عن فئة المكفوفين، وعشان حسابي يوصل لأي أم عندها طفل كفيف تعرف أن الحياة ما توقف لمجرد بس أن طفلك كف بصره.
نصيحة من لاعب التايكوندو لها 2 سنين في مجال لعب التايكوندو، أن مهما تجيك الانتقادات والكلام السلبي والآراء السلبية من أي شخص مهما كان، أن تكملي اللي تحبيه.
قادرين نكسر الحاجز وفكرة إنه بنات بتصميم السيارات بالتصميم الخارجي وتشيف ديزاينر يبطل إشي one in a lifetime، يصير إشي موجود عادي.
أنا أول عارضة أزياء لقصر القامة، وتم اختياري من 50 سيدة مصرية ملهمة لعام 2020، وعملت كتاب اسمه ملهم.
This gave me a feeling of achievement. I give the achievement that I did stop the termites. Because this was my way to stop the termite, nothing else. And I did.